My mind was so cluttered, it felt like I was drowning in an endless sea of to-do lists and expectations. I felt hollowed out, empty, and I was right on the verge of total burnout. It wasn't until I hit my breaking point that I found 3 surprisingly simple habits that didn't just save me, they helped me find my way back to myself. In this video, I'm going to share them with you. It all started so subtly. Just that nagging feeling of being overwhelmed, like I was constantly running a race I could never, ever finish. Every morning, my eyes would snap open before the alarm, my mind already racing with anxiety about the day ahead. Work, family, personal goals, it all felt like separate, heavy weights pressing down on me. I was irritable. I was exhausted no matter how much I slept, and I just felt completely detached from the things that used to bring me joy. A typical day was just about surviving. I'd power through meetings on caffeine and whatever willpower I had left, but my focus was completely shot. I'd just sit in front of my computer, staring at the screen, while a hurricane of unproductive thoughts raged in my head. You know that feeling when your computer has 100 tabs open, and they're all playing different, loud, annoying ads? That was my brain. That mental clutter made it impossible to think clearly, to be present with my family, or to even enjoy a simple moment of quiet. I was living in a constant state of fight or flight, and my body was paying for it. And the worst part was the guilt. Guilt for not being productive enough, for not being a better partner or friend, guilt for feeling like I was failing even though I was trying so damn hard. My breaking point wasn't some big, dramatic explosion. It was a quiet implosion. I was sitting in my car after work, parked in my own driveway, and I just couldn't make myself go inside. The thought of facing another evening of pretending I was okay was just too much. I realized I wasn't just tired. I was completely hollowed out. I had lost touch with who I was. And I knew that if I didn't make a change, I wasn't just heading for burnout. I was already there. That was the moment I decided to stop just surviving and start healing. It didn't happen overnight, but it started with one small, intentional step, which led to the 3 simple rituals I want to share with you today. The first habit that changed everything for me was the simplest one, and to be honest, the one I was most skeptical about: gratitude journaling. When you're in the depths of burnout, the last thing on your mind is gratitude. Your brain is hardwired to see all the problems, the threats, and everything that's going wrong. The idea of writing down 3 good things almost felt insulting to how exhausted I was. But I was desperate, so I bought a cheap notebook and left it by my bed. Here's the practice. Every single night, right before sleep, I'd write down 3 specific things from my day that I was grateful for. That's it. Some days it was easy. I'm grateful for the long phone call with my sister. Or, I'm grateful for the sunshine during my lunch break. But on the hard days, it was a real struggle. My entries would look more like, I'm grateful for my morning coffee. Or even, I'm grateful this day is finally over. But a funny thing started to happen. The act of searching for something good, even something tiny, forced my brain to shift its focus. Instead of letting my mind spin out on all the stress from the day, I was actively scanning my memory for positives. And what's wild is that this practice can literally start to rewire your brain. Research has shown that practicing gratitude can lower feelings of depression and envy and help you disconnect from toxic, negative emotions. Slowly but surely, I started to notice a change. I was sleeping better because my mind wasn't just a whirlwind of worries anymore. I began to feel less like a victim of my circumstances and more in control of my own mindset. Acknowledging the good in my life, no matter how small, built a foundation of inner peace that had been missing for so long. It wasn't a magic pill, but it was a daily dose of perspective that reminded me that even on the absolute worst days, there's still some light to be found. It's an incredible tool for building resilience and has been shown to decrease work-related stress and burnout. The second habit kind of piggybacked on the first one, but it got me out of my head and into the world. I call it the gratitude walk. Being stuck in burnout often means being stuck inside, stuck in your office, stuck at home, and most of all, stuck in your own mind. I knew I needed to move my body, but the idea of some grueling workout felt completely overwhelming. But a simple walk? That felt like something I could do. So, I started taking a 20-minute walk every day, sometimes in the morning, sometimes on my lunch break. But this wasn't just about getting from point A to point B. It was an active, mindful ritual. I decided to take my new gratitude practice with me. As I walked, I would intentionally look for things in nature to be grateful for. I'd notice the way the light filtered through the leaves on a tree. I'd stop and listen for birds. I'd feel the breeze on my skin. And for each thing, I'd just silently say to myself, I'm grateful for that. Combining that gentle movement with mindful gratitude was a game changer. And it's not just a feeling. Science shows that spending time in nature is a massive antidote to burnout. It actually lowers your stress hormones, like cortisol, reduces your blood pressure, and calms your body's fight or flight response. It helps clear that mental fog and improves your focus. For me, these walks became a kind of active meditation. They broke the stress cycle by getting me out of the environment where all my stress lived and into a space that was naturally calming and restorative. There's a sense of perspective you get from being in nature that you just can't find anywhere else. It's a reminder that you're part of something so much bigger than your own problems. These walks didn't just give my body the movement it was craving, they nourished my soul. They reconnected me to the world, brought a sense of calm and clarity, and gave me a little pocket of peace in an otherwise chaotic day. It's a simple, free, and profound way to reset your entire system. What's one small way you connect with nature to find peace? Let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear your ideas. The third habit is all about your physical space, because a cluttered space almost always equals a cluttered mind. This habit is all about decluttering your environment. When I was at my lowest, my physical space was a perfect mirror of my mental state. Chaotic, overwhelming, and just full of stuff that no longer served me. My desk was a mountain of paper, my inbox was overflowing, and my home just felt heavy. All of that visual noise was a constant, low-grade stressor that made it impossible to feel calm or focused. Decluttering is about so much more than just tidying up. It's about intentionally removing the things that drain your energy to make room for what actually matters. I started incredibly small. I didn't try to Marie Kondo my entire house in one weekend. That would have just led to more burnout. Instead, I picked one tiny area, a single junk drawer in my kitchen. I spent just 15 minutes clearing it out, and the sense of accomplishment and control I felt was amazing. So, I turned it into a daily ritual. Every day, I'd spend 15 or 20 minutes on one small area. One day it was my nightstand. The next, I unsubscribed from a dozen email newsletters that were clogging up my inbox. Another day, I finally sorted through the pile of books I knew deep down I was never going to read. There was something so therapeutic about the physical act of letting go of things that no longer had a purpose. It was like I was practicing a much deeper skill, setting boundaries and deciding what truly deserves my time and energy. A clean, organized space reduces mental fatigue and anxiety and creates a powerful sense of peace and control. By clearing out my physical space, I was sending a signal to my brain that it was okay to let go of all the mental clutter, too. This ritual created a calm, supportive environment that finally allowed my mind to breathe. It cut down on that constant, low-level stress and made room for clarity. It reinforced the idea that I was worthy of a space that felt good to be in, and that in itself was a huge act of self-care. It's a process of creating room, not just in your home, but in your life, for growth, joy, and peace. These three habits, gratitude journaling, gratitude walks in nature, and decluttering, didn't magically solve all my problems overnight, but they were the lifeline that pulled me back from the edge of burnout. They aren't huge, sweeping changes. They're small, simple, daily rituals that, when you practice them consistently, create a massive shift. They taught me how to find the good, even when it's hard. They reconnected me to the calming power of the natural world. And they helped me create a physical environment that actually reflected the inner peace I was working so hard to build. Life is still busy and challenges still come up. But the difference now is that I have a toolkit. I have these daily practices that ground me, that nourish my soul, and that serve as my anchor in any storm. My mind is no longer a sea of chaotic noise, and my soul doesn't feel empty anymore. I feel present, I feel resilient, and I feel more like myself than I have in years. If you're feeling overwhelmed or you're on the edge of burnout, please know that you are not alone, and there is a way back. It starts with small, gentle steps. It starts with giving yourself permission to put your own peace first. Thank you so much for watching. If this video resonated with you, please consider subscribing for more content on intentional living. And remember, be kind to yourself. You're doing the best you can.